Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 36 of the Dragon Radar podcast. We are your hosts, Heeroh and Ajoten. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well, ready and rearing to go for a Dragon Ball discussion. How's about yourself?
I'm also ready, so let's jump straight into it and get started with Roshi's rant.
Let's go.
This is Roshi's Rant.
This is Roshi's Rant, the first segment of the podcast where we deep dive into a particular topic regarding Dragon Ball. And today we're doing a bit of an interesting one because it's something I read up on a few days ago and found it interesting. And that is that the Dragon Ball Evolution film saved Dragon Ball. Which is mad to think about, but without that film, Toriyama was done. He was happily retired, and when he seen how bad it was, he decided he wanted to get involved with the Battle of Gods film that was being made at the time. And yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this a long time ago, and it was mental. The worst thing that ever happened to Dragon Ball was actually arguably the best thing that ever happened to Dragon Ball.
Yeah, because the Battle of Gods film was being created without Toriyama at the time, and I guess if that just went ahead, it would have kind of been in the same vein as like GT, kind of more Dragon Ball, but unrelated, sort of non-canon. So interesting stuff. But yeah, I was reading up on like the initial draft ideas for the film because it is very different to the Battle of Gods film that we ended up getting because, of course, the Battle of Gods film is kind of the start of the next arc after Z, whereas the initial draft actually had this film taking place between the Cell and the Buu arcs, which is mad, to be honest, because this film came out, like 10, 15 years after Z ended, and then they were going to make a film that was set in the middle of two arcs. Like, that alone is strange enough. Especially since they still had the idea to bring in Beerus at the time. So it's like, well, where was Beerus during the Buu arc in that case?
Just chilling.
Yeah, like he just goes off again.
It would have to be basically a full retcon almost.
Yeah, almost, which is why it kind of falls in the same vein as GT, where it's like an alternate time split, I guess, just after the Cell arc at this point, and then forget about Buu just for this film.
Make Buu non-canon or this non-canon. One of them.
Yeah. I mean, they have plenty of, like the Z films, which are non-canon, with all these different villains, Turles, all the rest of them. I don't need to list them all, you all know them. But, Beerus, I guess, would have been just another one.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
If it was going to be, that's the thing, if they decided to make a show for it, the way they did with Super, then that would have mean that they would have had to have made the end of Z non-canon. They wouldn't have had a
whole
choice.
Buu arc, potentially.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, like the entirety end of Z after basically the Cell Saga and after this film, everything after that would have been a retcon non-canon. So basically, all of that would just be out the window, and that would have been caused absolute like ructions.
Yeah.
Like, nobody would have been happy with that. This would have had to be a hell of a film for people to accept that. I mean, out of the four arcs, you got like Saiyan Saga, Frieza Saga, Cell Saga, Buu. Obviously, I'd say the Buu Saga is arguably the least favourite in a poll, something like that.
Yeah.
But if you were to just say that's not canon anymore, it's still near and dear to pretty much the majority of fans. So for you to then just say, no, doesn't matter anymore. And this would have to be a hell of a film.
Oh, yeah.
Then
of
get
course.
people to accept that.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I don't think, if they were to do this film, even if it was kind of successful, I don't think a series would have came from it. I think it would have just been another one-off film, and that's kind of it again. But there is a few details on what was going to happen in this film. So it was going to, like I said, it was between the Cell and Buu arcs, and it was going to focus more on the wedding of Krillin and Android 18, which is interesting. So I'm kind of thinking at this point, everyone won't be as old as they were in the Buu arc, so the time skip wouldn't be as major, because 18 and Krillin already have Marin at that point. So this would have been even earlier than that. So Gohan wouldn't have even been in high school at this point. It would have been earlier.
Yeah, because he's only just starting at the start of the Buu saga, yeah?
Yeah. So I'm going to guess this is, well, I mean, I think the Buu saga is what, like 4 years after Cell? Or something like that? 4 or 5 years?
I can't remember.
I think maybe even 6 years. But either way, I'm gonna put a random number, and this is like 2 years after Cell. So enough time for 18 and Krillin to build up a relationship and get married, but not long enough for Gohan to be that much older. So that kind of makes sense.
They're going to need a time of peace in between these, aren't they? In between this Beerus and Buu. They're not going to immediately step into it. There's going to need to be something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So let's say around about 2 years after Cell. And yeah, Beerus was going to look more snake-like instead of, I guess, cat-like as he is now. He's going to look more like a snake because obviously that makes him look a bit more evil, I guess. And he was going to be the one that was responsible for planting the evil within Saiyans. So that, I don't know, that warrior urge to take over planets. I guess I know they were ruled by Frieza, but overall they were kind of happy to take over these planets for Frieza, I guess. So I don't know.
I mean, they did it for Frieza because they were a warrior race. Like they didn't have all this pride in warrior race just because of Frieza. That's why Frieza got them to do it. Like,
yeah,
that's why Frieza found them useful.
And I guess they almost kind of kept somewhat part of that idea because, you know, Beerus was the one who told Frieza to destroy the planet. Even though that still hasn't been mentioned yet to Goku and Vegeta. But that was mentioned in, I don't know if it was actually the film or the show version. Was it mentioned in the film though, or was it mentioned in the anime? Because it wasn't mentioned in one of them, but it was mentioned in the other.
Can't remember which.
If it was the film, then yeah, fair enough, they've just forgot about it. But if it was in the anime, then Goku and Vegeta still don't know that fact yet.
It'll never get mentioned again. Don't be silly. It'll not get mentioned.
Probably not. No, but
it's too far in the past now.
Yeah, I guess that was the one point I remember where I was like, oh, so this Beerus is a bad guy because he made Frieza destroy the planet. So,
I think that's the thing. They were just kind of planting the whole seed of Beerus is a bad guy. Don't forget he's a bad guy. And now they're two all buddy to make any drama of it. So it'll never get mentioned again. Probably
not. But so he was going to be the one responsible for planting the evil, whatever that exactly means. But there was going to be a new Super Saiyan God form as well. So the God form was still going to exist, but that was also going to look different. So the form itself was going to make them like extremely muscular, similar to how Broly looks. And the hair length was going to change. It was going to be somewhere in between Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3. So not extremely long, but not like, you know, quite long-ish, I guess. I guess maybe similar to Gohan's beast form. Yeah, that's longer than 2. But not quite 3, so it might have been similar length to that, I guess. Maybe. It's kind of in the middle.
No, thank you.
And also, the God form was going to have a cape. So I don't know where the cape comes from, but they were going to have a cape as well. So that's
just a random cape made of energy.
Yeah, I guess because God, you know, calling it God, make it more...
Literal Superman.
Yeah, make it more regal, I guess. Yeah. But
I bet that's where they got that from. Like Superman type things.
Yeah, potentially. Like Zeus.
Like that's how powerful they are. Like Superman type powers. I bet that's where it came from.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. But just the fact that, you know, I'm trying to imagine Goku being buff like Broly with a cape and long hair. It's like, does he even still look like Goku at that point?
I literally hate everything about that idea.
Yeah, but this is the point where, you know, Toriyama decided, I want to get back involved because evolution is terrible and I'm not having that be in the final thoughts on Dragon Ball.
You managed to avoid evolution, didn't you?
Yeah, I haven't watched it all the way through. I've seen little bits, but that's about it.
It's the most disgusting piece of awfulness in the history of everything. like Goku goes to high school and he meets Chi-Chi at a frat party or something like that. And it's just everything about it is just the most like I just hate it. It's just it offends me. And
I know people overall just don't like Goku in that film and how he's portrayed, but just looking at the character design of Piccolo, at least, I don't find it too bad. Yes, he's got a different outfit, but overall, I think for a live-action Piccolo, I'm not mad about it. I think he looks okay.
Yeah, he's a really. I would say Piccolo is a really good cosplay. That's how I see Piccolo in that film. He's a really good cosplay.
Because let's face it, if they were to make another live-action Dragon Ball film now and they had Piccolo in his full outfit, it would look a bit out of place. Let's put it like even the Marvel films, all the heroes in there.
They would CGI him.
Yeah, but the Marvel films, they don't have the initial comic book design outfits. They've got a more modernized look for them. And I think that's kind of what they did, or what they tried, at least with Piccolo, and I'm not mad about it. I think it was all right. Just the full black. Yeah, it looked okay.
I think what they would do these days is they would literally just do what they did with Thanos and stuff like that. If they did Piccolo in a live action these days, like if they had the money to, they would just do like the CGI and the dots and all that stuff.
Yeah,
like that's how they would have to do Piccolo these days.
Yeah,
but it's just it's a good cosplay for a big budget film. So that's pretty much the only thing I'll let them get away with.
Yeah,
but everything else in that film needs to burn, needs to die, and needs to never be mentioned again.
Yeah,
it's just wrong.
But I mean, I'm not complaining about that.
Toriyama was right to get involved after that, and I can see why it was I can see why he wanted. I can see why it offended him so much.
It offended everyone.
To be honest, I'm kind of glad in a way that it happened, but I will never sell my eyes with it ever again.
Nah. I mean, I've avoided it for so long. I've seen pictures and mini clips here and there, but never the full film all the way through. And I plan on sticking that way because I know how bad it is. I've seen everyone complain and I've got no interest in watching it.
No, it's there are some funny reviews on it online, and it's just like I advise watching them because you'll get a good laugh out of it. But don't watch the film itself. You don't need to punish yourself in that way.
No, I don't plan to. But it is interesting to think just the way this initial Battle of Gods film was portrayed. Because I'm thinking, if that was to happen with Battle of Gods and they brought in the god form, and this was still between the Cell and Buu arcs, it doesn't make sense for them to not use that god form again during the Buu arc. Why didn't that happen then in that case? So
it would probably be stronger than Vegito.
Maybe, yeah, potentially. Maybe. I don't know about that.
I mean, that would be. I probably offended a lot of people saying that.
Yeah, I mean, we would have to say the power level's still on par with Red God, as is. Yeah. Just it would look different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is only Super Saiyan, so Super Saiyan Vegito, so it's hard to gauge. Let's just say for argument's sake, it's the same. Okay, we'll just say for argument's sake, it's the same. Okay, so and Super Saiyan Vegito absolutely rinsed Buu. Yeah, had the time of his life just messing with him. So if you can just access that straight away, you would use it.
I'm also thinking there would have had to been a different way to get Super Saiyan God, because they needed 5 Saiyans, and Videl definitely wasn't pregnant at that point. Goku and Videl didn't even meet between the Cell and Buu arc. They met during the Buu arc. So
that's why they didn't use it, Heeroh.
But I mean, if the film was to go ahead, they would have had to have a different way to get God.
But they would have at least referenced it, wouldn't they? Yeah. Oh yeah, but in the actual story of the film, they would have had to change the way they do it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does that change? I'm guessing they would have, It wouldn't have been a 5 Saiyan thing. It might have just been another form that can be unlocked somehow.
Unless they done something like Beerus has a Saiyan bodyguard, something
Maybe.
like that to have the 5th Saiyan.
Maybe, potentially, you want to introduce a new Saiyan character, maybe instead of Whis.
Yeah, or no, just as well as Whis, like he has this crazy powerful Saiyan bodyguard or something like that just stays with him. I mean, Xeno has bodyguards, for God's sake, and he has like the priests and stuff. Like he has these random bodyguards who are just like.
That's true. We don't know how powerful they are. They just kind of stand around.
Yeah,
but they've got to be somewhat powerful. They must be.
Yeah, like Goku picks up Xeno all the time, so
Yeah.
the worst bodyguards ever. But
yeah.
I'm
trying to think who would be the 5 Saiyans. It would be Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Goten, and then this new one. Trunks.
You could do Trunks.
So hold on, who were the ones actually in Battle of the Gods? Because it was Gohan, Vidal's Pan, I guess.
Yeah.
Who else? Vegeta?
No, but they had to hold. Goku couldn't do it because they had to put power into Goku, didn't they?
Right. Is that right?
Well, technically, that has to be 6, doesn't it?
Okay. Okay. So it was. Right? Was it Goten and Trunks though? Was it Goten and Trunks? It must have been. There's no one else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
there is no one else.
Goten, Trunks, Vegeta,
Pan, and Gohan.
Yeah, that must have been it.
Yeah. Okay.
Power 5 hearts in going into Goku. Yeah.
Unless they just said you need 4 other people.
Yeah,
5
they would
altogether.
have said something like that.
Yeah. But then if we think about the Buu arc and how that changes, Goku can now become Super Saiyan God, and let's just say for argument's sake, so can Vegeta, because why wouldn't he also want to do it? Yeah. So why, if the God form is on par with Vegito, then you've got 2 people at that same level instead of having 1. You know, so it's unless they make Buu even stronger, but then there would have been no Super Saiyan 3 form at all. So that's also interesting. No Super Saiyan 3, which means no Gotenks Super Saiyan 3.
You really complained about that, to be fair?
I'm not, because Super Saiyan 3 is just a useless form. But, you know, skipping that completely, going 1 to God, that's a big difference.
Because, I mean, Vegeta did get red.
Yeah.
They literally fan serviced it in Broly. He didn't need it, really, did he?
Nah, he didn't need it.
You could technically argue it is useful. I mean, Goku did show that it is useful in the Tournament of Power, somewhat, for energy conservation and stuff like that. He did technically use it, you could argue. So it is useful to have. Vegeta does have it. He didn't use it in the same way in Broly. He literally used it for fan service in Broly, but it is useful to have. So yeah, you would have had 2 in the Buu saga. And I mean, once you've used it once, you unlock the ability to just use it outright. So he wouldn't have needed a second. He wouldn't needed people the second time.
The only difference being when he becomes Majin, then Majin God Vegeta. That would have been quite different. And I think no one would have been able to stand up to him at all. Not even close. No fights at all.
Yeah. That would have been really cool. Two red gods fighting each other.
Yeah. Especially with the capes. They would have looked like the Gammas, kind of. But buff.
No, that would have been very cool, actually. 2 red gods fighting.
Yeah.
Because then people wouldn't... Because there's obviously the argument saying basically Goku was technically a lot stronger than Vegeta during that fight. He was just holding back, which technically he was, because he could have turned Super Saiyan 3 at any point. He would have disappeared a lot quicker because as soon as he turns 3, he loses all his power, whatever. So could he have changed? There's lots of arguments about the fight, whatever. Not a discussion for a different day.
Yeah.
But basically, if you have 2 red gods, they both turn red god, it is an even fight. So it would have been much better. It would have been a lot cooler, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think overall, if they went with this, they wouldn't have continued the Boo saga. They would have continued down the Beerus path.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that they would have to, well, maybe not. Maybe Gohan wouldn't have ever had the Great Saiyaman phase. Maybe he continues training after seeing Beerus and thinks, oh, all right, well, I can't really slack off. Yes, my dad's really strong now. He's got an even bigger form, but maybe I should keep going. Potentially.
Peace was never an option.
Yeah. Like, there's gods of destruction now. There's beings that we didn't even know about. Okay, maybe I should keep training. Maybe he never needs to
I think
die.
he said about 5 times now.
True.
And
But-
he said, but it might actually stick this time.
Yeah.
Like the writers might have actually had to stick to it,
Bring
and
in
actually
universe stuff straight away.
not have had a choice, and actually had to go with that.
That'd be interesting though. No Vidal, no Mr. Satan, no Boo.
Because it seems strange that they would have basically they would have been intentionally writing a non-canon film many, many years later after they stopped writing non-canon films.
Yeah.
Because
It
basically
doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to picture, like, how does it even work? They were making the film like 15 years later, but setting it midway through Z?
Yeah. Like they'd been writing all these films that were non-canon, basically. And then they stopped doing that. And then they intentionally make another non-canon film.
Yeah.
That seems crazy.
Yeah.
Like, which sounds like exactly what they were intentionally doing. Like, it's like, stop it. Make a canon film.
Yeah.
Which is obviously what Toriyama came in and did. And he was like, no, you're doing silly things. Stop doing silly things and do good things. And they did. They came in and they did. And it was like, okay, we'll stop doing the silly things and we'll make a canon film and we'll make it good. And so they made a canon film.
We got a full anime. Yeah, we got multiple films, full anime back, future anime coming back again. So yeah, Dragon Ball.
I love Battle of the Gods. I thought Battle of the Gods was great.
Yeah, so did I. But if it came out and it was midway through the arc, I wouldn't know how to feel about it. I'd be like, well, this doesn't make sense.
No, it interrupts the flow entirely. It doesn't work. Like, making a non-canon film, like, how many years later than the last film? Like, so long after.
Yeah, a lot longer.
Just doesn't make sense. Like, just stop it.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense whatsoever to do that. Non-canon films don't make sense.
No,
like,
not at all.
Pointless.
No. But this is all thanks to Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yeah.
They managed to save Dragon Ball somehow.
Yeah.
Weird.
And because of that, we literally have how
Super.
many?
Everything.
Like, as long, like, yeah, we have Super because of that. Like, we have, instead of getting one crappy film that would have been awful, non-canon, would have just been a useless film that everybody would have hated. They would have shit all over it, and they would have hated
potentially, because no one would have been like, well, why didn't he use this form during the Boo arc? None of this makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It would have basically. I think it would have been a GT where it would have been massively split down the middle. There would have been loads. There would have been like there would have been a big chunk of the fandom that would have liked it, and then there would have been a huge, and then the rest of the fandom would have absolutely despised it and just said, I want nothing to do with this. This is not Dragon Ball. Stuff like that. That's what it would have been like.
Yeah.
But instead of that, we got this canon film that
makes sense.
That is a lot of I love it. I think it's great, and I think a lot of people really like Battle of the Gods.
Yeah.
And then we got all of Super. We got the show, and we get a lot. There's a lot of content in Super.
Yeah.
How many episodes of Super?
150 something, 56, I think.
Yeah, and like how many episodes of Z are there? Like
300 or something.
Yeah, like it's like half of Z again. Like it's half of Z. Like that is a lot, and Super's coming back, so we're probably going to end up with as much Super as we got of Z,
which is just great.
Because of one abomination.
Yeah.
That angered Toriyama to such a degree.
Yeah.
Greatness. Love it.
So, yeah, Dragon Ball Evolution, the best and worst thing to happen to Dragon Ball. It saved Dragon Ball. But yeah, I think we can wrap up this segment there. It's interesting. Oh, Dragon Ball Evolution, what a film. But yeah, let's move on now to the Hall of Fame.
Go.
And now it is time for the Hall of Fame.
And now, once again, it is the Hall of Fame. Myself and Heeroh battling out to see who is most worthy this week.
Mm-hmm.
So, last week we had the best finishing move from a Z film. And Heeroh, you had the Gogeta's Stardust Breaker against Janemba.
Yeah.
Or Gogeta. And I had Goku absorbing the Spirit Bomb to destroy Android 13. And you are now going to give us the results in which Gogeta got the Stardust Breaker to win.
Well, with 73% of the vote, it was Gogeta. Of course it was. Come on now.
Yes,
yeah. Gogeta won.
Silly me forgetting about Gogeta.
Yeah, 73%. I mean, 27% still voted for the Spirit Bomb Punch, but, it's not going to be Gogeta. It just wasn't.
I'm not being Gogeta. I'm not being Gogeta.
Yeah. I'm picking up the win with that one. And yeah, what are we talking about this week?
My streak.
I did.
The reset. It's
yeah.
fine. I'll get it back this week.
We'll see.
Don't you worry.
We'll see.
I've got a plan as long as you don't steal it.
Well, this is an interesting one.
Yes. So, with us recently hearing that Super is returning soon, we've got the most anticipated moment or character for the upcoming return of Super. And, of course, as you won, you get to go first.
I do. And since as of this moment, we aren't aware of how the return of Super is going to go. Is it going to follow the manga? Is it going to continue from the films that were released with Broly and Super Heeroh? How are they going to do it? Because if they do the movie way, then that means that Orange Piccolo and Gohan is a thing before Granola, Gas, and Moro and all of these other people are introduced. They could do that, because that's what they did with Super originally. They did the films in order, and then they did the show. So they could do that. Or they could go down the manga route and forget about the films, make them non-canon completely, and just, continue the manga, which, yeah, it is dangerous, which I don't think they'll do, because the films were highly successful and everyone loves Broly and all the other characters introduced. So, with that being said, my most anticipated moment is Frieza. Yeah, the return of Frieza. Because they left they left Super on a bit of a cliffhanger with Frieza being resurrected again. And, he's been left to escape into the unknown after the Super Dragon Balls. The wish was granted and we brought him back to life. And currently, because the films aren't yet canon, that's where we've left him. He hasn't been beaten by Broly yet. And, he isn't a joke as of the anime ending. So, I'm interested to see what they do with Frieza. I want to know how he returns. I'm praying that they leave him out of the Broly stuff. I'm hoping that, yeah.
Okay.
I know. I'm hoping that they go down the movie route, which I'm expecting them to do. They do the Broly film, they do the superhero film, and then continue after that. That's what I'm expecting, but I'm praying that they leave Frieza out of it. Just don't bring him back for the Broly film. Do the Broly film without Frieza. He isn't fully needed. You can kind of work around him, I guess. It is what it is. But even if they do bring him back, that's fine. Do that bit, and then it's the bit after, because he disappears again. I'm on about when they bring him back properly. That's the bit I'm anticipating the most. That's the bit I'm looking forward to. Because if they do the manga route, he trains for 10 years, he comes back as Black Frieza, and he destroys everyone. He is now the strongest person. He's actually trained. We haven't seen much of his fighting techniques, but I'm expecting he's got a few new tricks up his sleeves. He has a full new form. He's extremely powerful. And he is the best villain in anime history. and I want to see them do him right. And they kind of did that in the Tournament of Power. They brought him back. He was cool. He was fun. He was cocky, and he survived. He proved his strength. But him with 10 years of training, potentially new form, all these new techniques, potentially another form. Who knows? That's what I'm anticipating the most. I want to see more of Frieza. I want to see his story wrapped up. A definitive ending. We all thought he was dead after Trunks obliterated him. Apparently not. His story continued. We thought he was done after Resurrection F. Nope, bring him back again. Now he's alive. He still needs a definitive ending, and I think when they do bring back Frieza again properly, which hopefully will be throughout this new anime at some point, he will have a definitive ending, and that is what I'm looking forward to the most, because an ending fit for Frieza, it's got to be something massive, and it's got to be something epic, and yeah, that's my most anticipated moment. Can't wait to see what they do with Frieza. So this is going to be a tough Hall of Fame, I think. I know you haven't said yours yet, but this all comes down to personal preference. Everyone is going to have different ideas of what they want to see the most. So, a lot of people aren't going to care about either of our picks here. So, yeah, I'm interested. But what is your pick this week?
Yeah, because I have a backup, but I think it's like my backup. So I'll say my backup first. Because my backup is going to be basically I think it's going to be quite a generic, more of an expectation than like what people actually want, and that's going to be basically people are really anticipated for things like they've been waiting a long time for the manga stuff and that, even though we don't know that it's going to go down that route, but a lot of people, because the manga's been so far ahead for so long, people are really wanting to see things like Moro and things like that animated. So I think a lot of people are really anticipated for that. So all these like granola and everything like that, they want to see that.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are really anticipated for that because they've been waiting a long time to see that. So I think personally, a lot of people just want to see that.
Yeah.
So whilst it's something that's pretty simple, I think people are just really, really keen, and they just want to see that.
Yeah,
I mean, pretty fair.
I would like to see that as well. It just doesn't kind of make sense with the two films that came out because they don't overlap quite right.
Yeah. I know that's the only thing. It's like that. I feel for the manga readers in a way, because there is, I would say, a very good chance that because of those films, those manga adaptations might not happen. We don't know that for sure, but I would say that because of the films, there is a chance that it might not.
Yeah.
We don't know, though. That's the thing. They might just say, that's the film. They've happened. Anyway, manga. But that was just my backup. My actual anticipation is your new boy, Broly.
Ooh.
So Broly, we saw him in the film. We saw him trying. He was trying so hard, but he's not allowed to play yet because
not quite.
he can't control himself.
Yeah.
So we've not seen much of him, and he's just now. But when he gets that under control, he's going to start transforming, and we don't know what he's going to transform into. So
this is true.
Are we going to get God Broly? Are we going to get a whole new transformation Broly? So are we going to get Super Saiyan God Broly? I think that's pretty interesting, Super Saiyan God Broly. Or are we going to get this whole new Broly? So the new transformations for Broly, I think people really want to see. Super Saiyan God Broly, I think people want to see that. Yeah. Or maybe we're just going to get the new transformations of a controlled rage Broly. Like, I think people would very much like to see that.
Yeah.
I think if you say to someone, Super Saiyan God Broly, because people want to see that next stage of Broly. Like when you turned around and you just said, no, Broly, you can't play. They were like, what? So all they got during the film of the tiny bit of Broly was him raging out, and then Goku like it was like Reese was like, have a triple threat match. Goku was like, no.
No.
Go sit down. I bet how many people do you just think went,
God
what?
damn it.
No.
Yeah. A lot of people would have been disappointed in that.
People want to see him fight, and you're not going to see him fight until he can control that. And the first time you see him fight, it's going to be transformed. And it's not going to be just him, what he was doing in the Broly film. It's going to be the new transformation, which is going to be a controlled, transformed Broly. And whether or not that's the equivalent of what Kale did in the Tournament of Power when she controlled hers, which was an entirely new transformation because she was smaller. She was she was more defined and everything like that. She wasn't this big hulking monster that she was. She was a lot trimmer and everything like that. So she looked completely different. So does that mean that Broly's going to be the same? Like, is he going to be more like he is when he's chilled out? Like a lot smaller, but he's still going to have like the big hair and stuff like that? Or is he actually going to go God? Like, there's so many options.
Super Saiyan 4?
Yeah. Silence.
Who knows? Who knows? It would fit him out of everyone.
Beast Broly. But I think people want to know what's next for Broly. Because stepping into God mode is that the next step for him? Because you're then stepping away from what makes Broly unique. People want to know what his transformation is and what his advancement is, because he is the legendary Super Saiyan. He's not just your average Saiyan. He's something different. People want to know where his story is going.
If we both get our way, this could happen at the same time. Since, Broly did just destroy Frieza. Frieza goes away, trains, comes back, and this is it. He's finally defeating Goku and Vegeta with ease, and then Broly steps up. He's finally managed to control his rage, unlocks his new form, takes out Frieza potentially. They could both happen at the same time.
Frieza's all here for it because he's like, oh yeah. Yeah. Right. Let's party.
Yeah.
Because he's there for it because he's like, basically he was a chew toy for now, wasn't he?
It would be good to see Frieza just completely just take out Broly for a while before Broly finally manages to control himself and unlock this new form.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So we both might get our wishes at the same time.
No, Broly's gonna have to. Broly's stepping up in the return.
Oh yeah,
he's there. He's got to be there.
He has to be.
Even if they follow the manga, I mean, what they could literally do is they could just merge the manga and the films and just slowly interlink them and just do retconning a bit. I think
they would have to retcon a lot of stuff from the films, I think, more than the manga.
I think they don't have a choice.
Yeah. Because both film... I don't think the Broly stuff... Actually, the Broly stuff has happened, I think, in the manga. Like, we should mention, we aren't manga readers. We aren't up to date with the manga. We don't really know what's going on there. We know bits and pieces, but that's about it. I think the Broly film, some of it has happened. Like, Broly has been introduced, but he's not really around. The superhero film has definitely not happened. But in both films that have happened, they take place straight after the end of Super. So, none of the manga stuff kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and I imagine Piccolo and Gohan have fought at least multiple times in the manga. Yeah, I would assume. And if they had the power level that they had now, they would have made an exponential level of difference because they're as strong as Goku, arguably. We don't know, but they're arguably at least as strong as Vegeta and Gohan are now.
Yeah, because
at least
Superhero takes place 4 months after the end of Super, which means the Broly film is straight after. And, any of the manga stuff, Goku, has mastered Ultra Instinct, Vegeta has Ultra Ego. None of it makes sense because you can't just plop in Superhero at the end after all these new villains are introduced and all this stuff and say, yeah, well, actually, it's only been 4 months, but, we kind of forgot about these forms for a little while. We've been off training, doing this stuff, saving the world. Oh, Granola's a person now. He might die soon, but he's around. You can't do that. So to merge them together, it's going to be extremely tough. It doesn't quite work. You're going to have to change a lot for one or the other.
Yeah, like because during Superhero, they don't exist.
No,
like
they're focused on training to beat Jiren because they know he's still strong.
Yeah, like they are not particularly strong in comparison. Goku and Vegeta are not that level in any way, shape, or form. No. They are weak. They are weak compared to their manga counterparts.
Yeah.
At that.
So yeah, but that's off on a tangent anyway. I guess for this Hall of Fame, it's going to be an interesting one. We have the final showing of Frieza, like his final ending, against Broly's ongoing story.
So it's we transformation / Super Saiyan God Broly.
Yeah. So the continuation of Broly, the ending of Frieza. Those are the two picks for this week's Hall of Fame. So it's going to be a close one, I think. It's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see who wins this one. But if you want to vote, go check out our social medias down below. You can see them right below my name there. Go check them out. Vote on the polls, and we will find out next week who enters the Hall of Fame. But for now, let's move on to the hot take.
Hot take.
This is the hot take, the final segment of the podcast where I go online, find a hot take regarding Dragon Ball, not our opinions, someone else's opinions, and we discuss it, see what we think, see if we like it, dislike it, make a fuss in the comment section, and then leave the world a better place. So, yeah, well, sometimes better, sometimes worse, who knows? Depends on the like to dislike ratio on the video. But yeah, this week's hot take, I was looking online. It's a bit of a long one. I have someone's hot take and then someone's reply and then original person's reply to that comment. It all goes together. So, this person has said, is anyone else annoyed by Beerus? He's become such a joke even though he's supposed to be stronger than 95% of the characters. I was perfectly fine with his character until the Broly movie when he was reduced to babysitting and stayed on the sidelines the entire movie. Gogeta even stated Broly was as strong or stronger than Beerus, so why not have them fight each other? Now Moro is a universal threat that is destroying multiple planets, and what does Beerus do? Absolutely nothing. He definitely knows what's going on, so why doesn't he do anything? Now that the villains are of a higher level, a fight between Beerus and them wouldn't always end in a win for him. Even after his universe was in jeopardy of being erased due to incompetence, he still doesn't do his job. He just seems useless to me. So that is the take. Someone has replied that, saying, his job is to destroy, which is what he has been slacking off in. As far as he is concerned, Moro is doing his job for him, so why bother? Unless Moro's actions directly affect him, the sweets on Earth or the universe, then he probably doesn't care. So the original person has replied to that, saying, his job isn't to destroy for the sake of destroying, it's for balance. Like if one race is overpopulating the whole universe, then that's his job. Moro is destroying everything, so Beerus won't have a universe to govern. Yet he's still doing nothing. The Earth is being attacked currently, so even the sweets are in danger, yet Beerus is not there. The character is beyond pointless, considering destroying planets is easy and he doesn't do his job. He adds nothing. What do you think about this? It's a lot to wrap your head around.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I disagree. He's a god. He's a god of destruction. He's not a protector.
But like the person said, he's a god who destroys to bring balance, which is not what he's doing right now.
Yeah, but he's for balance. Like this is kind of like the whole death thing. It's like it's not if Moro's destroying stuff, what's that to him?
Well, he's destroying everything. He's not. There isn't going to be a balance if Moro actually gets his way.
But again, it's like you could argue that, yeah. But at the same time, it's like he's not really like Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could say that at a point, but at the same time, he's like, he can literally just go to, he could just go to literally the land of the gods, couldn't he? Like,
You could, but I think that's the thing because I mentioned already, but we're not the manga readers really. We don't fully know what's going on. We know bits and pieces, but that's about it. But as far as I know, with Morrow, he is literally an unstoppable machine. He's destroying everything in his path for no apparent reason. He's just on a destructive rampage, kind of similar to Kid Buu in a way, but on a bigger scale. He's destroying planets, and yeah, Goku and Vegeta are trying to stop him for the most part. And as far as Beerus goes, surely he should see this and think, hold on now, you're destroying everything. That's my job. Or at least I should be destroying these if there was a big problem enough for me to want to destroy them. But you destroying these? No, you've went too far. Maybe I should step in here and go Hakai, boom, similar to Zamasu. Because let's face it, he killed Zamasu. He didn't let Zamasu just go around willy-nilly doing whatever he wanted to. He stepped in and killed him. But he's
no, he stopped Zamasu because Zamasu was killing gods.
Yeah, but Morrow's trying to destroy everyone and everything.
Is Zamasu killing gods and everything though, or is he just killing mortals?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's the thing. If he's literally just involving himself in the mortal world, I would say that literally Beerus has no reason to care. Literally no reason whatsoever to care.
Potentially.
This is the thing. This is the Whis argument all in my eyes. Like, if Whis doesn't get involved and he has no ties whatsoever to Beerus or anybody because he's an angel and his universe, it's like he will help, he will sort out Beerus, he will sort out Goku and everything like that. But in the end, he is loyal to Xeno and everybody like that. And the universe technically is nothing to him. And I would say that Beerus is the same to every mortal underneath him. Like, it's the same flow, it's the same hierarchy. Like, the mortals themselves mean nothing to him. So he's not a protector.
So what's your thoughts on Beerus as a character as of right now?
Because he's a lazy character. He is a very lazy character. I think if you're just looking at him from a fact that, from a plot reason, he doesn't do anything anymore. No. So in terms of whether or not he's doing his job, I would argue that he has no direct reason, arguably, to get involved, unless literally there's going to be, like, maybe he should get involved. But in terms of for whether or not it's interesting, he's nowhere near as interesting as he used to be at all. Like, no
he's not.
Because the thing that I've said before is that I do not believe he will ever fight Goku ever again.
No, and I can't see that.
Find that I don't think it's going to happen, and I find that very disappointing. Because everyone's saying, like, the whole, like, oh, he only used so much percentage of his energy when he originally fought again, and now Goku's gotten stronger and everything like this, and it's like, well, he's never going to fight him again, so what does it matter? Like, he's saying Goku's so much stronger now, and now he can use Ultra Instinct, and now we know that Beerus can tap into it a little bit, well, Goku can tap into it a lot more, so now it'll be an even fight. It doesn't matter, because they're never going to fight, and I don't know why people think they will, because they're obviously not going to, because they're not interested in Beerus anymore.
No.
And it's like he's literally just a glorified babysitter who makes quips.
Yeah, which is what I don't like about his character either, because he was introduced, he had the one fight against Goku, which was cool and everything. Great introduction to the character, introduction to other universes, I guess. We hadn't explored that far at that point.
Kind of had that second fight when he was in this.
Oh, yeah, when he was as what was his name again? I can't remember, a little green guy who just fainted at the sight of Goku, pretty much, because he was too
Begin
powerful.
with an M. I forget what he's called. Yeah.
I can't remember the name, but everyone knows who we're talking about. But yeah, it's like, okay, he's been around. He's had Monaka. Yes, that's the name. Yeah, that's the one. But yeah, Beerus has had these mini fights here and there. He's never went full power ever. We're unlikely to ever see it because he doesn't get involved, really, because he doesn't need to. He did step in, killed Zamasu. That's the last thing he's done. Apart from that, he's been on the sidelines for a Tournament of Power, just shouting at people, and that's it. And yeah, I'm not expecting them to do anything else. I'm not. And it's a shame because I like his character as a comedy character, but in a fighting anime, you expect people to fight, and I can't see him ever fighting again. And it annoys me because he is insanely powerful.
And he's a badass.
Yeah.
Like when he deleted Zamasu.
Yeah.
It's arguably one of the coolest moments in Super.
Yeah.
Like you see the power of Hakai and how dangerous Beerus is when he does it because of how effortless it is. He deletes a god just with a word. And it shows you how dangerous he is. And that's it. Like that's the most we'll ever see.
Yeah, because it's annoying. I would love to see like a match between the gods of destruction, like a Tournament of Power style, but just like every universe's god.
We saw
just
a tiny little fight before the exhibition.
Yeah,
and I think that's all we saw.
Yeah, but
like in the manga, you saw like Beerus fought a few of them. Like you've seen it in the manga. You even tapped into Ultra Instinct a little bit. I've not read it, but like I've read about it. And I would have loved for them to do that, or for us to have seen that, because then you get to. I would have loved to see a Beerus flex. That would be so cool. But we're just not going to see that, because I would have loved to see the power of Beerus.
Yeah, because I think we have all these interesting characters like Jiren, Toppo, Hit, all the rest of them that were introduced in the Tournament of Power. So many characters, like 60 characters introduced all at once. And it's just like, oh, we have all these dream matches that are like, oh, imagine Jiren versus Gogeta and, you know, Toppo versus Hit, like, you know, when they're not held back and they can't actually kill each other, this type of thing. And it's like, put anyone against Beerus and it's just like, oh, well, Beerus wins. It's like, it's no competition because we know that Beerus is so much more powerful than anyone. And it's like, well, we're not even going to see him fight. And it is annoying. And I kind of don't like that about the character. They made him maybe too strong.
The thing is, do we these days? Because it's like, we said he used this percentage of his power. And then Goku's now got strong. And then we've got them saying, and then we've got Jiren saying he matches the power of a god of destruction. So now we know Jiren's like as strong as a power. So which god of destruction? How does that god of destruction match up against Beerus, who is a god of destruction? So it's like, is Beerus as strong? So it's like, because we've not seen Beerus fight since way back when in Battle of the Gods, we don't know anymore because we've not seen him scale.
That's almost the point in that case. In the manga, Goku has Master Ultra Instinct, Vegeta's got his new form as well, Ultra Ego. Both of them can't defeat Moro. Black Frieza comes out of nowhere, takes out, you know, Vegeta and Goku and Moro, and is just like, yeah, I'm back, bitches, here I am, all powerful again. And it's like, can Frieza beat Beerus? And if so, why didn't Frieza just go after Beerus? Why didn't he just be like, yeah, look at me?
He wants Beerus as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
he does have a grudge against Beerus as well.
Of course. And it's like, if Frieza is all powerful and could take him out because he took out Goku, Vegeta, and Moro with ease, why didn't he just go after Beerus and take him out? Why is he afraid? Maybe he does. Maybe he does go after Beerus. Yeah. And maybe we will see a fight between Beerus and Frieza potentially in the manga upcoming. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? But as far as Beerus goes as being lazy and not stepping in. I kind of agree to an extent. Give Beerus something to do. Why doesn't he just jump in and do something? If he jumped in against Morrow and then Morrow was holding his own, or Beerus wasn't able to just take him down, that would have been an interesting dynamic. It shows that Beerus is a person that can be messed with. And it gives that new layer to him where it's like, oh, okay, so not everyone is way away from Beerus in that case.
Yeah.
But we don't see that. He does just kind of stand around with no one wanting to touch him because it's just expected that Beerus is way more powerful than them all.
I don't know. I just think that we don't know that Beerus is strong anymore. We don't. I mean, we don't know that Goku in that can't beat him anymore.
Potentially.
Like that's the thing. Like I know we know Beerus is really, 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 really strong and everything like that. And I may anger a lot of people by saying this. Like I know that Beerus is very, very strong, but the thing is, because the writers have stopped him fighting and basically just made him a lazy sit-about cat babysitter. Since he's not fought since Battle of the Gods, and they've done these stupid things by saying, "Oh, we have this person who's as strong as the God of Destruction." Like you've ruined the scaling. So we don't know anything about Beerus' scaling whatsoever. We don't know anything about it. All right, so they've took all power agency from Beerus. So we don't know anything about him anymore. And no one can really say you're wrong, really, because they have no evidence to back that up, really.
Yeah, until someone steps up.
Manga, but in the anime, you've got nothing. Because literally the last you saw was Battle of the Gods. That's literally the last thing you saw, and he's done nothing since.
Yeah, we need someone to step up to Beerus. Maybe it will be Frieza. That would be interesting. I would like to see that. Imagine if Frieza took out Beerus, then all hell breaks loose. But
so basically what they need to do is they need to prove me wrong in when the show comes back and get him to fight again, because I desperately want to be wrong and have a rematch with Goku or something like that, but I just can't see it happening. I think they're past that point.
Yeah, so I guess this take that I'm just going back to the first line where the person has asked, is anyone else annoyed by Beerus? I'm going to agree and say, yeah, I kind of am, because I don't know how to feel about him. He's just kind of there. Yes, he's funny at times, which is great, and I like the fact he is a bit of a comedy character, but as far as fighting goes, I am just annoyed that he doesn't get involved. He just is there, and it's expected that he's more powerful, and that's kind of all he does. So, yeah.
I'm not annoyed at Beerus. I'm annoyed at what they've done to Beerus.
Fair enough.
I think that's more accurate.
Yeah, fair enough. I can agree with that. But yeah, I'm interested to know what everyone else thinks. So please leave some comments. How do you feel about Beerus? Do you find him annoying? Are you annoyed by what they've done to him? Or do you think he's fine as he is? Let us know. But I think that's a good place to wrap up the podcast. So if you did enjoy it, please like it up, subscribe down below if you haven't already. And other than that, we will see you all next time.
See ya.